Disney classics, original shows, documentaries, and more. There's a new streaming service in town. We're Andrea and Patty, and we are now streaming Disney Plus. Hey, y'all, this is Patty from No-Guilt and No-Guilt Fangirls Podcast. You can find me on all socials at No Guilt Life. And my co-host is Andrea Updike. She is with Theme Park Parents, and you can find her at Theme Park Parents on social media or at Andrea Updike. Now, Andrea is not here today, but I have one of my most favorite people on the show today, Tania Lamb from Tania Lamb. I do love you. Tania Lamb from LolaLambChops.com. Hey, Tania.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, fun fact. You are our most honored guest because you are the first guest on Now Streaming Disney Plus.
Oh, I am very honored. Thank you.
This has been a big week for you, straight off your Wheel of Fortune debut, and now you made it here. I mean, can it get any better than this? I don't know, Tania. This has been a big week.
I mean, it has. I'm surprised that I had the time to come do this podcast after my fame and fortune from Wheel of Fortune.
Well, we do appreciate you fitting us in. All right. So tell the people where they can find you online and, so they can come follow you.
You can find me everywhere on social media at Lola Lamb Chops, and you can find me on my blog, LolaLambChops.com.
Perfect. All right. We are going to talk about the new series on Disney Plus, which is A Diary of a Future President. And the reason I wanted to have Tania here to chime in on this is going to be pretty obvious if you happen to know her. She is a Latina mom of 5 Latina girls, and I know at least one of those girls is going to be president someday, right?
That's the plan.
That's the plan. All right. Which one have you picked?
Seriously, if it was going to be anybody, it would be Sierra.
It would be Sierra. I can see that completely. Yes. So yeah, we have good things in the future. Everybody get ready to vote for President Lamb. Before we jump into that, though, I wanted to point out something that just came across my desk. This is for you Star Wars people, which, speaking of Sierra and the Lamb girls, they like them a little bit of Star Wars over there. Do your girls watch the Clone Wars?
Sometimes.
Okay. Have you ever watched the Clone Wars?
Sometimes.
We were big Clone Wars fans back in the day when my boys were younger, and nobody's watched it recently. However, it's on my list of rewatching of things, especially with The Mandalorian and how things kind of played in. Right. And I know Andrea mentioned that too, that's kind of her goal before this next date pops up, which we're in the countdown now. February 21st is when the next conclusion. All new episodes, 12 new episodes of the Clone Wars are coming out on Friday, February 21st. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. I know people are super excited about this. So I'm going to guess the way Disney rolls is there could even be some more of those, I don't know, tie-ins or Easter eggs or something to do with The Mandalorian. So it might be worth paying attention to, folks, if you haven't done so already. But that comes out February 21st. And I just wanted to put that out there before we jumped into Diary of a Future President. Let's do that now. Okay. Tania, what can you give us a little summation of what this is about? We've only had one episode, so that's as far as we've gotten so far. But what is this? What does this look like it's going to be about?
So it is. So they're short episodes, I would say, 23-ish minutes. And so we got the pilot episode and it was super cute. It's about this girl. It kind of starts off with her as president of the United States, as a woman. And then she receives a package from her mom and it's her diary. And I remember the assistant, the Secretary of State, I don't know who it was, but asks her, what is that? And she says, it's basically a diary of how I got here. And then it's the flashback of when she's in middle school. I think she's in 6th grade. And so she's starting middle school. It's been a little bit rough and you kind of see her accounts of what happens to her in middle school, which we all know is kind of a rough journey sometimes.
It can be. Both of us are moms that have kids in that middle school journey right now.
Yes.
And it's an adventure, y'all. It's an adventure.
Yeah.
I actually just watched this yesterday, I think. Yeah, yesterday on the treadmill. I pulled it up and got into it, and I laughed and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think this is, again, another one of the Disney Plus originals that they're doing right. They're doing it well. It was entertaining. It was cute. It was family friendly. Now, the subject matter of this, we kind of talked about this offline for a few minutes, but they talk about these teen girls who are having their periods or not having their periods, as the case may be. And like for 15 minutes, Disney Plus talks about having your period. And I was like, wait a minute. Whoa. Wait a minute.
I don't think it was 15
it may
minutes.
Not have been 15
but
minutes,
it felt, when you're not used to having that type of and it's not like detail oriented about what happens when you have your period by any means. It was just also, part of the show. What I liked about it is that it's so relatable because, like you said, right now I have two girls in middle school, a 6th grader and a 7th grader. And some of the exact same things that are happening to this girl on the show is what's happening to my daughters in middle school. And so one of the subjects is, they move up from, she says how in elementary school, everything was great. It was smaller. And then 3 elementary schools feed into this middle school. So it's a totally different scenario, which is usually what happens in middle school. And so my daughter with her had 2 best friends in elementary school in 5th grade. They move up to 6th grade. And then one of them ditches the other 2 in search of popularity. And that's exactly what's going on in the show. And I'm like, yeah, I can see everything that's going on here. And they talk about periods as far as a status symbol type thing.
Yes, right.
And so it's ridiculous on one hand, but then that's the kind of ridiculousness that happens in middle school where catty girls will use anything to hold over whoever just to make them feel better. That
is summed up middle school perfectly because unfortunately that's what happens. At least that's what I'm seeing. And I know what you're experiencing as well. But I think that's what I liked the most about this show was that it felt very relatable in the sense that that's the things that these kids talk about. And that's the weird thing that they find, important to talk about in 6th grade is if you've had your period or not. And they did. And so it was a conversation. So it was just one of those things where it took me by surprise, mostly because, like you said, we're not used to hearing that or seeing that, particularly like in the pilot episode of a brand new series. So a very bold move on Disney Plus part to just kick it off in this way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so overall, what did you feel? How did you feel with the representation and what do you think about where this series can go in the future?
The show also deals with other kind of heavy subjects right off the bat too. There's in this family, the father has passed away, of course, because Disney has to kill off parents all the time.
Exactly. There's no 2-parent households anymore.
Yeah. So, you don't see the death or anything. But so that's kind of brings up the mom is dating somebody at work and, brings him home, but doesn't want to introduce her so Elena is the star of the show and she's very intense, like she is, which sometimes tweens are very intense and dramatic and melodramatic. And so they're Cuban Americans. And I was just laughing at some of the things the mom would yell because I do the same thing, not quite with that much of an accent, but it just made me laugh because I could see myself in her. And especially when she's talking, what was the scene when she's talking about, the uncle who you don't want to end up like Tio, and then talking about how he went from a D in class to jail, and the girl's like, so what happened between the D and jail?
Exactly.
But you don't want to end up like Tio.
But you don't want to end up there. Just don't do it. Don't do it. My youngest actually sat and watched this one with me before she went to school, and Lucy loved it. Lucy was like, I can't wait for more. Is there more? Can we see more? And I said, Lucy, it comes out every Friday. You know how Disney Plus rolls. We got to do this every Friday. And she's like, all right, Friday morning, Mom, we're going to watch it again. So that is now that my beloved High School Musical, the series, has wrapped up. This will be my Friday morning show to watch with Lucy.
Yeah, no, and another thing that I also like too is that, so, it's a Latina woman who ends up to be president.
Mm-hmm.
And even, seeing this girl, like, she reminds me of me just in the way that she looks, and especially at that age. And what I also liked is, although she's kind of navigating her way and finding herself through middle school, she also has this confidence. And I remember one part when a teacher calls, says her name. I don't know whether it was to call her up or for attendance or whatever. And, calls her Elena Canero Reed or something like that. And she corrects her and says, it's Canero Reed. And that small thing made such a big impact, because I remember when I was that age, like in elementary school and middle school, and my last name was Gamarra with 2 R's, but no way ever was I pronouncing it like that. I would be like Tania Gamarra, to say it in the most I just didn't want to stand out in any way. And so that this girl had that confidence, and that's what they're showing. Like, no, I am proud that this is how you pronounce my last name, that I'm Latina, It just made a big impact on me, just remembering what I was like back then.
That's awesome that you pointed that out, because that's a very small moment that, like, I heard it and I saw it, but I don't have the same experience that you had, obviously, with that. And it is important to have her showing such confidence in who she is to go ahead and correct a teacher. Like, who does that, right?
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah, no, I love that too. I love it too. Yeah, I think this is a real positive step. I am looking forward to her adventures in middle school. I also have to throw out there that her brother, she has a older brother in this, and he's a doll. He's adorable. His name is Charlie Bushnell, but he plays Bobby. And the character of Bobby is, I see that in my sons. Like, he's just like, chill. Like, that's his answer to everything. Yeah. And I was like, yep, that is a 8th grade boy.
The whole thing with the pennies, I was like, oh my gosh.
They do. They think with their stomach. And so if they can pay with 99 pennies, because it's absurd to pay with 99 pennies, that's what a dude is going to do. Yeah. It's very, very well written, and a lot of fun, and another positive thing to look forward to if you are looking for original content on Disney Plus. Again, this is Diary of a Future President, and it comes out every Friday. All right. Well, that's all we've got today. Thanks for coming and visiting with us on the now streaming Disney Plus podcast as our first guest.
Yay. Thank you.
Yeah. Hopefully we will have Andrea back next week or the week after. It just kind of depends on our schedules are kind of, I'm traveling. She's got some other stuff going on with work. So we're trying to keep it going, but hopefully we will both be back for the next episode. And at which time I know that we want to talk a little bit more about the Clone Wars and Star Wars and whatnot. And we also wanted to talk about some of the things that are coming out in 2020 that we have on our horizon that we're watching. This happened to be one of them. It just kind of snuck in on us before we got to have that conversation. So as it turns out, and I did talk to Andrea, she likes this show a lot as well. So we both give this one a big thumbs up. All right, guys. Well, we will see y'all real soon on the next episode of Now Streaming Disney Plus podcast. Thanks, Tanya.
Bye.